Hello everyone, I am Flankera, and today we're going to continue rigging Shalom from Path to Nowhere. Yesterday I was focusing mostly on this area right over here for the right head turn, and I was realizing this morning that I think I can actually push it a little bit further. So here, it's like, when you look at the front, this dark area actually goes like behind the ear, and the ear here is going to be like somewhere behind her head here. So I was thinking about seeing if I could get away with moving this black spot a little bit further over to the side. Just... oh. I'm gonna be very, very gentle with movement here. Just to kind of see if I can get away with it. Just trying something. Seeing what happens. I think I like the idea, but the execution currently leaves something to be desired. That's okay, I can clean that up. And I think it'll look pretty good once I get it cleaned. So let's see here. What am I looking at? That's always the question. Just kind of want this black area to start getting behind the front bang a little bit, and I think I might even expand this, well, not the front bang, the side bang. Might even expand this just a little bit so I don't have to go quite as far. Not much expansion, but it's a little bit. And I think that'll make my life a little bit easier. Do always appreciate making my life a little bit easier. And then when I was turning it to the side before, I was noticing that everything kind of seemed to be moving in weird directions, so let's try to fix some of that. There we go. Is this too much, is the question. No, I think I like it. I think I like it. I just need to get everything in the right spot again. The joys of thinking right when you get everything in a good spot. You get a better idea and you're just like, okay, I want to do that now. Happens to me all the time. But it's okay, I think it's a good idea. Gotta try to focus on getting the black part there, kind of in the right spot. Because I think once I have that, everything else will kind of come easily, since this is the part that I'm focused on for this idea. Just kind of doing something neat with that black part and having it follow the shape of the ears, or the movement of the ears, I guess. So that maybe things will look a little bit less strange to me. That's always the struggle with the ears there, of just, I need them to go behind the head, but I don't know quite how to do the same thing with the hair here. I still have a lot to learn when it comes to rigging. That's okay. I can learn it. Just gotta keep doing it, and I think this one's turning out pretty good. This particular rig, that is. I'm pretty happy with it. Just going to adjust some of the movement here. Try to make this line less crunchy and distorted. Get it looking very nice. Nice and smooth. There we go. Maybe something like that. I'm still not sure if everything's in the right place yet. I'm pretty sure a lot of things probably aren't. That's alright. I'll get them there. So I think one thing I'm gonna have to do is really get all the vertices through here really, really packed in. They're just gonna be all squished together. all nice and squished. And I think that'll help. Because once they're nice and squished, like the part that was bothering me the most, the crunchiness here aside, was just how everything through here was moving underneath. And so I do think that is better. I mean, I need to fix a lot of things, but I do think squishing everything together a little bit more thoroughly helped. So I'm just trying to get the general gist of where all these things will go. And I'm actually paying very close attention to where they end up at the end there, so that this way the movement between the two keyframes will look nice. Okay, here I think I need to zoom out in order to find the right angles here. It's like this is obviously not quite right. So I just need to find where some of this stuff should go. Easier said than done in this case, but I think I have an idea. As long as I have an idea, I have something to try. So I can at least see if it's right or wrong. Not so sure. I might just not have enough hair drawn. Although, oh, no. That's right. Because I remember I was compressing things pretty heavily this way too, so I actually have a lot of space to push all of this to the right. Or left. Yes. I know the difference between my left and right, I swear. So we'll just start pushing the things this way, start compressing things on this side harder, and not quite as hard on this side. And maybe that'll do what I want. Doing it without the brush for now because I don't want them to move all the same distance. So I think it's a bit easier to just do it manually, like this. Okay. Looks really weird, but let's see. Let's see. Just want to get an idea of the kind of movement that I'm in for. Yeah. Yeah, I think that'll look pretty good once I clean it up and make it not super crunchy and distorted. Okay. So still kind of want to go for fairly straight lines. So that this way I can take those lines and make it more look like it's wrapping around the side of her head. Instead of just, I don't know, curling inward like they do in the front view. Because see here, they kind of slope downward. But if I keep that same kind of slope on this direction, it'll feel like it's going the wrong way, and it'll feel weird. That's what got me down this entire rabbit hole to begin with. Just trying to fix that. It's okay. I think it's been worth it. I like it. I think it looks much better than it did before. I really do. I'm quite happy with the change. It just needs a little bit more work still. It's okay. I can give this area a bit more love. This area is definitely the most complicated of all the strands on the left side. You know, her left, our right. So, I don't mind putting a bit of extra time and effort into this. The rest are a bit more straightforward. And I do find the side that's getting compressed, you know, the side that's becoming smaller than the head turns, to be much harder than the side that's becoming larger. So, once I get this part done, well, that's probably the hardest thing left. I'm gonna hide this side bang for a moment. I think I'll even hide the underneath. Just so I can really get in there and focus on how all of these strands should fit together. Alright, I think I'm actually going to look at the mesh and how it moves around. Yeah, a lot of that is pretty close to how I think it should go, so let's just look very carefully. I'm going to turn the side bang on for a second again. I'm going to look very, very carefully on how this is moving between the two keyframes. Because I think that's the area that I need to pay the most attention to right now. Okay, so this tells me I'm probably going to go back and forth between turning the side bang on and off. Just because I do need to make sure that everything is where it needs to be. And sometimes it'll be easier to see, like the final result is going to have the bang on, but sometimes it might be easier to see where I need to put these spots that are going to be covered up with the bang off. Because then I can actually see what's going on underneath. So just moving it very, very slowly to kind of get an idea of what needs to be changed. Sometimes, especially when I'm focusing on how things are changing through the interpolated frames there, it's easier to see them when you move very, very slowly. Let's actually zoom out a bit so I can get really solid perspective here. But I think it's coming together. And I'll just gradually keep putting things into place. And we'll see what happens. Here's hoping that it all works out for me. It'd be a bit sad to do all this work and just not enjoy the result very much. But I do think it's getting there. Just gotta figure out where some of these things need to go. Because I'm not entirely sure yet. I'm just still kind of feeling my way through all this. It's always a bit tricky for me. So I'm doing my best. Doing my best to try to figure out what's going on here. Alright. Just gonna stare at it very intensely for a while. So it might get a little bit quiet, but I assure you, I am concentrating very, very hard. May not always look at it, but the intense stare cannot be denied. Okay. Yeah, the only real goal here is just 2 days ago I was looking at this and I was like, man, the left side doesn't look nearly, or the right head turn doesn't look nearly as good as the left head turn, and what is causing that? And I determined that it was this area here, and some areas not flipping out as nicely as they could, I guess. But it just felt like everything there was just so much flatter. than how I managed to get everything on this side. Like, there's some decent depth going on here. You still see the back here, and this bank is covering most of this area, and the way everything just flows together looks really nice, I think. But I wasn't getting that impression here. And a lot of the problems with that was around this area. So I'm still kind of trying to feel out how to get it to feel like it's curling around her head. And that's what led me down this rabbit hole. And now I'm probably going to spend a week just going, and wondering how I do this. That's okay. I can take as long as I need to. I'm not here to go fast. I'm just here to make stuff I think is cool. That's ultimately what it comes down to. When it comes to art stuff, I've actually always been really slow. I've gotten a lot faster in recent years, but compared to what I can see everybody else do, I'm just like, oh god, I'm so slow. It's the perfectionism. The perfectionism makes me slow. But I do think I get good results when I'm able to take my time like this, so I don't mind too much. Just gonna do my best. And go at my own pace. I remember about a year ago I was trying to update like every week, or just post something to Twitter every week. And that was honestly pretty stressful. I might do it again someday, but not something I'm doing right now. I'm too busy just trying to improve the quality of my art and all that stuff. And sometimes, well, I've reached a point where I feel like I just kind of have to chill out for a bit. I do think that insisting on updating every week was probably good for my development, but I don't miss having to worry about that. I just kind of want to take it all at my own pace now. Even if that means I'm a little bit slow. Part of me is a little bit sad. I really did like being able to post that often. But a week might... well, weekly might just be a little bit too hard for me in my current state. But the bright side is that I have been studying quite a lot, and I have learned many things. So, hopefully as I start getting better at those many things, I'll be able to post more frequently. And at the very least, I have my daily streams. So you can at least see all the progress being made. Even if it is sometimes me just poking back and forth at little vertices and hoping for the best. I'm just trying to find the right balance between, does this feel like it's sliding versus does it feel like her head is turning? Just the main problem is I'm trying to tuck it in on this bang over here. But her head is turning to the right. And in order to do that, I would have to move the hair to the left. And so it looks a bit odd to me. But I think this is looking better. Yeah, it's a bit better. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the underneath layer that I had. It's kind of weirding me out. Just having that not being there. I'll just take it slow. Take it easy. Try to... I don't know. Just... get everything the way I want it. Even when I'm kind of struggling, figuring out exactly how I want it. The idea's in my head, but I don't know exactly what that looks like. And that's pretty hard when you're trying to... I guess not, in this case I'm not drawing something, but I'm still trying to arrange the pixels here in a specific visual configuration. And when you don't know what that configuration even looks like, it's like, ooh, a bit hard to figure out where everything needs to go. But I think this looks okay. Looking at this dark part here. I think that the little twist that's being put in is actually perspective appropriate. So I just need to do the same for the other parts now. But it's progress. I will take progress. I always appreciate the progress. So I'm just kind of trying to do the same thing here, which I think will result in all of these vertices becoming much, much closer together. So there's like a small shadow right here on the side of this highlight. And I'm trying to get that to be a good angle. So that's why all these vertices are suddenly becoming much, much closer together, because I just feel like I need to stretch this area a little bit in order to get the kind of look that I want. But at the same time, when I stretch them too hard, it really pulls this part in a weird way. Like, look at that. Doesn't that look a bit strange? So maybe I need to push these parts over here a little bit more. Gotta find the balance between those two parts where how much I care about these two shadow parts. Yeah, because that definitely looks strange. So I guess I can't quite get away with that. I was kind of hoping to be able to stretch out that little shadow, but I think by stretching it, it makes everything else look way too weird. So I gotta make do with what I can do. So I think the part I'm gonna look at is the black part. I'm gonna try to get that going to the right place. So you can see this black part kind of goes up like this here. And then as I turn it, it still kind of has a concave feel to it. So I think this is the part where I need to hide the bang. Alright. So let's try to get rid of that concave feeling here. Try to just very gradually, very carefully flip that and make it look like that bit of hair is going around her head. I don't mind this one being a little bit strange. It looks a bit looser than the others, so should be fine. In theory. That phrase will probably amuse me for a while, the saying in theory. My daughter always gets mad when I say that. It's like my dad always comes over to visit every Friday. And if she gets up before he gets here, and asks, "Is Grandpa coming?" I say, "In theory." Because he's probably coming, but if something happens, he might not. Because, you know, sometimes people get sick and stuff like that. Most of the time he's pretty good at telling me early on before she gets up, but occasionally she gets up really early and I need to have a response to her questions. So all I can do is say, in theory. And she just feels so trolled. It's very funny. Look, when you have kids, weird things will start to amuse you. If you think your parents are weird, they probably are. Because having the tiny humans, it changes you, man. More than you would ever imagine. They're just so funny, and they're so funny. Being 4 just seems so wild to me. Seeing so many things I never even thought about. I'm just like, huh. That is the essence of being 4, huh? Terrifying. People idealize childhood so much, but I don't know, being a small child seems kind of terrible. Don't know how to regulate your emotions, so you're just always a constant mess. Entirely reliant on your parents to do everything for you. Gotta follow their rules even if you don't agree with them. Sounds terrible, man. I vastly prefer being an adult. But I guess it comes to the territory when you're 17 billion years old. Alright, how we doing? Still, like right here, still moves a little bit funny to me. Alright, let me get the movement between these two areas looking closer to the way I want, and then I'll worry about cleaning it up and everything. Because I think it still needs a bit of cleaning. Let's see here. Gonna turn off the bang again. And try to get this, I don't know, more down, I guess. I think it needs to do something more like that. Bang and bangless quite a lot. Just to try to get some of these to where I think they should go. Still a bit of weirdness there. It's like here and here, I think. I mean, it's hard to tell. I can't see what's going on. I'm just guessing based on how some of that's moving. I think this might be okay, though. Let's zoom out. I don't know, it still looks a bit strange right there. Don't you think? A little bit strange. A little bit strange. I don't want to move it too far back out, though. Just because, if I move it too far out, I'm going to... It's not going to be tucked behind the bang anymore, and that would defeat the purpose of everything that I'm doing right now. Okay, but this doesn't look too awkward. this tells me I can get away with a little bit. Just gotta find the limits of what I can get away with. Test the limits here. I can do that. Okay, I think this is okay. Yeah, I think this is alright. And then to get it to kind of start curling around toward the back of the head, I think I actually want to move those vertices upward a little bit. Create a little spot. Yeah, maybe I don't even need to make it look too much of a straight line. I can let it be a little bit concave. Doesn't have to be completely convex. Something like that. Yeah, and then down at the bottom here, I think I can even push this a little bit further to the right. So it doesn't slide so much. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm getting somewhere. And honestly, if I don't have to reverse the curve of the way her hair was flowing in the original state, that'll mean that things don't get quite as crunchy too. That'd be pretty sweet. Just gonna slowly start getting things into place again. It's probably gonna take some trial and error. Don't worry about it. That's just how it goes. I'm used to it. Yeah. Okay. So I was probably wrong about being able to move things further to the left. Like when I was sliding all the vertices over there. Seemed like I was probably wrong about that. A little bit unfortunate, but I can reverse that decision. It was something I wanted to try, but it didn't do what I wanted. So now, I'm gonna do something else. No big deal. Sometimes things just don't work out the way you expect, and that's totally okay. You just gotta adapt. Gotta be adaptable. A supple willow in the breeze. If I let myself get too frustrated about art-related things, I probably would have stopped drawing a long time ago. It's okay. Art is cool. It's a good time. I'm not always super great with words, so being able to express myself with pictures is pretty nice. Alright, I'm gonna zoom out and take a look. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Gonna move it slowly. But now it does look like it's going further back to me, so even though I didn't adjust the shape too much, I just positioned everything a little bit more correctly, I think. Alright, I think some of these spots are a bit low. So I'm gonna go push them upward a little bit. It's okay, with all the work I've done here, I'm not surprised that some things just got moved around a bit. Yeah, and once I properly clean this up, the adjustments were good. Just need to decrunchify everything. As you do. And I think once I get that, that'll look pretty nice. We'll see if I need to make any more minor tweaks here. But I think this looks better than it did. And I think it's been worth all the extra effort that I put into it. Yeah. This is one of the more important bits of hair on this side, I think. Really shows the depth of the head more than a lot of the other ones, so I don't mind spending a bit of extra time to get it right. Might just be the perfectionism talking though, but I think this made a big difference. So I'm pleased. I am quite pleased. Just get those last few details right, and maybe I can actually do a different strand today. Wouldn't that be something? Actually being able to work on different parts of the hair. I feel like it's been a little while since I've touched a different part of the hair. I say this even though I just arbitrarily decided to work on the right side 2 days ago. But I'll be able to work on the other parts knowing that this scary part is done. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Alright, and with all that, I think I can actually afford to make a few changes on the highlights. Floof them out a little bit, make them look a little bit more 3D. It's like I moved the dark area in between here further down, so I think I can get away with it. It's in a slightly different spot now than it was when I initially started working on that highlight, so I can probably get away with a little bit more without having everything look like it's bulging weirdly. So this part that I'm working on right now is mostly for the interpolated parts between the two keyframes. Yeah. Yeah. And by shoring that up a little bit, it'll look a bit better as it goes between those 2 points. Yeah, that's much better. And I still get to keep all the effects that I want. How wonderful. Life is good. Let's go adjust those highlights. I actually have lots of room to play around here with as much as this clump of hair is underneath a bunch of other layers. So I've got lots of room to derp around and not worry about some of the distortion that might happen underneath this bang here. Yeah, and even just with that small change, I feel like this entire area looks considerably less flat now. So much less flat. It's wonderful. I didn't even feel like this was that big a change, and it's made such a huge difference on the model itself. I will take it. I'm happy. Just trying some other things now. Now that I've adjusted the highlight at the top, I feel like I have a lot more room to curve this particular shadow. Because before, when I had the highlight the way it was, curving that shadow just, well, it looked a bit odd. But now I don't think it really does. Just looks like her head is turning. Perfect. I actually really like that. Alright. So now I guess it's time to look somewhere else. I can look at a different strand. Try to find any other areas that are looking a little bit flat. Because I was kind of thinking that this bang here still looked a little bit flat. And I wasn't quite sure how to fix it. But with the changes made to the connecting hair there, I think I have a couple of ideas now. Everything is relative, so with that area all floofed out and looking wonderful and more three-dimensional, let's see if I can't do the same here. Just make it a bit rounder. When in doubt, just make things rounder. Maybe don't try that in your squares, though. Let's see what I can do with this strand. If I can't make it a little bit nicer here. A little bit more three-dimensional. As opposed to just kind of flat and sad. No, that didn't really help, did it? Oh, that's too bad. Nope, nope, nope. Did not help. Honestly, I think I'm just gonna go back. We're just gonna go all the way back. Okay, so if that didn't do it... If that didn't do it, what is making this strand look flat? I do feel like it's right here. Right here is what's making it look flat. So let's study up here. I'm gonna study the front side and try to understand what's making this here not look flat. After I deal with my foot falling asleep. There we go. Foot falling asleep there. Okay. So it comes in here, and it goes out there, and it feels like it's just draped on her head. Whereas here, it comes up and then kind of goes down. It does not feel like it is draped on her head. So what would make it feel like it's draping? Okay. Ideas. A combination of a couple of things. First, I think I brought this part out a little bit too hard. So I'm gonna bring it a little bit closer to her head. In theory. And then I'm gonna round the tunnel a little bit more. Just a little bit, though. Not too much. We're just kind of gonna really develop that feeling that it's just gently, gently draping over her head. While I try to get my legs comfortable. That's the trouble with sitting in one position for a while. Your legs rebel on you. Normally I can keep them in check, but I guess today they're restless. Don't really know why, but they are. It happens. Okay. So I kind of want to give the impression that it's draping over these bangs a little bit. Right here. Just gently, gently draping over them. So what does that look like? What does it mean to gently drape over these bangs a little bit? Probably like this. Probably have to do some cleaning, but how is that? Is that any better? Maybe a little? Not as much as I was hoping, though. So that tells me that's probably not quite the answer. Okay, let's try a couple of other things. I have plenty of other things I can still try, so I'm not too discouraged. Not discouraged at all. Maybe something like that. That was a pretty fine adjustment. But I don't think I needed to do anything too drastic here. Okay, in some areas it's working, in some it's not. So maybe what I need to do... So what I was seeing when I was moving things over is that, like, down here needed to be, like, way further this way. But up at the top looked pretty good. I mean, I need to fix the highlight. But I'm just trying to get the overall shape of the strand good here. Yeah, I think even right through here needs to be, like, way further. No. This one. There we go. Way further over here. Actually, I probably do want to use the brush. Let's just make it a little bit smaller. Just like way further out. To really get that soft draping feel. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Now I have a bit more space for some shenanigans here. With this little shadow area that I was having a good time working with the other day. Didn't really touch it today because I thought it was in an okay spot, but now I have an excuse to go touch it again. Try to make all my dreams come true. Maybe something like that. Not at all. Okay. It's okay. I still... Oh, do I have hair from a different strand peeking through. Is that what's causing the problem? That is indeed what's causing the problem. Okay, let's hide that layer for a second. Just so I can get these shadows here to do what I want. Tells me that... Okay, that one's not on top. So good. This means that this should be a fairly accurate view of what I'm seeing. That's good. It'll give me lots of space to try some things. Because I did like that little shadow. It was a good little shadow. Alright. So we'll put this back on and we will take the brush and just tuck them underneath. Probably gonna have to fix a lot of this once I get around to working on that strand, but one thing at a time here. One thing at a time. Okay, but overall I do think that helped. Let's go do the highlight before I worry about anything else. So what's bothering me about this highlight now? Okay. Looks like it just got shifted downward with all my shenanigans there. That's okay. That's a nice easy fix. Nothing to worry about. I think I actually need to start zooming out here to properly check for 3D effect. Because zooming in like that is just going to tell me that things are moving, which... Good. That's what I'm trying to do. But whether they look like they're moving around her head, as opposed to just kind of in place, well, that's something I need a little bit more perspective for. This feels like it's moving out a bit too far, so I'm gonna pull back down. That might have been too much. I have an idea. I'm just gonna try it. Let's see what happens here. I really want to try to get her hair looking really floofy. The degree of floof is just so nice. So let's see what I can pull off. Some very gentle movements there. Just trying to change the feeling that it's... I don't know. How do I describe the feeling that I'm getting right now? Like it's being... that strand is being pulled off her head. That is the best way I can describe the feeling right now. Whereas in the front view it looks like it's just gently draping over everything. Just quietly laying there. Here, when I was moving back and forth, it just kind of looked like it was being pulled off her head. But there we go. I think I'm getting some of the feeling of it being draped back. But at the same time, I'm still not entirely satisfied with the roundness of this tunnel. But I really don't want to lose that very gentle draping feeling. So there's my dilemma. And there's what I'm working towards right now, of just keeping everything round, but making sure that it looks like it's still just gently laying on her head. Easier said than done. It's not entirely cooperating with me. Not entirely cooperating with me. But I do think I need to revisit the route here because I was just noticing that after my attempts to squish it down, I might have been a little bit too effective in doing so, and now it kind of... yeah. Let's say it's kind of compressing in a weird way. Gotta make things nice and round. I might have to adjust the shadow behind it before I can really believe the illusion here. The illusion that her head is turning. But on the bright side, by tweaking this, I am allowing myself to floof things out this way a little bit more. So I'll take that. That's something. I think overall it's progress, because if I can floof things out over there more effectively, then hopefully I'll eventually be able to get rid of this feeling that it's just very flat and not turning. No, that didn't really help, did it? Too bad. Okay, let's try again. This one might require some doing, so I may not finish this area today. May not even leave it in a place I particularly like it. Sometimes I like to, well, most of the time actually, I like to at least get things passable, leave them in a way that makes me think it's at least somewhat finished before I go and stop, so this way I can look at it in the morning with fresh eyes and try to get some new ideas, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that with this one today. It is not cooperating with me. This might just be something to think about today. Normally this would be where I just poke at it like every hour or so. But can't do that as long as I'm streaming it. One moment, my headphones cut out. Let me fix that. Get to see funny model faces while I fix that. I have an idea in my head, but I just do not know how to execute this. Well, I'll keep poking at it for another 2 minutes before I stop. On the bright side, I think the red part looks good. So that means that to an extent, I can just work around it. So as long as the red part looks good, that means that once the other parts also start looking good, that means I have something going here. Yeah, but my attempts to just make it rounder, they're not going so well. So let's not worry about making it round. Let's just collapse the tunnel a little bit. Let's just collapse that tunnel a little bit. Yeah, and that does make some of the discomfort I see go away. So I might just be trying to overemphasize the tunnel, but at the same time... I just don't particularly feel the 3D effect. And that is my dilemma. I think that is what is leaving me a little bit unsatisfied. I just don't get the feeling that her head is turning very much with things as they are. Maybe I'm just over-exaggerating the turn a little bit. Maybe what I really want is just it to just gently lay down. After all, it does look like it's just gently sitting on top of her hair here. Just a little strand quietly sitting on top of her head. So maybe it just needs to look soft. And maybe I'm just making things hard on myself for no reason. Wouldn't be the first time. But that's not doing it for me either. Oh, that's rough. Well, I think that'll be something that I visit tomorrow. And that probably this will be where I end for today. So thank you all for coming. If you'd like me to take a look at your own creative projects, whether that be art, writing, coding, game design, any creative pursuit you can think of, feel free to message or at me on Twitter or Instagram and I'll take a look and maybe leave some comments. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.